to celebrate, and they will. We've been here where the football team shows up and they go nuts. Just shows you about the community around the school too, right? Like everyone is on the same page.
Yep.
We're going to support each other.
Dialed in. Cusilito. Shut down. Campese's played a brilliant game, 25 in white. Kirschus. Freshman nowhere to go with it. To shoot for the Blue Devils. Cusilito, nothing. Forces it inside. That time he found his man, Luke Graham. I shouldn't say force it because Graham was open. It was just a beautiful pass.
Yeah, credit Cusilito here for holding on to that ball and then forcing the inside. I said it earlier off of Graham's first goal. To beat Notre Dame, you got to be willing to jam it inside. Graham, a natural left-hander, occupying that crease area. We've seen very little action from behind the cage to in front of the cage today. McAdory's invert, and then Graham finishing the first goal, and then Duke's 6th. So they're stuck on 6 now, 2 weeks in a row. This is a team that's averaging 13 goals per game, and they've gotten 6 the last 2.
They go out of conference next week, by the way, to play at BU.
That's not an easy game.
That's at Nickerson. Not going to be an easy game for them.
No,
their last out of conference game.
BU lost a ton of guys from a year ago, but they identify some real talented, slick players. They have a freshman on that team, Timothy Shanahan, who leads all freshmen nationally in points. He's a playmaking lefty. He's got some style and toughness around goal line extended.
Good news is, I guess, if you can go to Boston and get that win, Kark, it will give you some confidence. It's not just a throwaway game.
Just beat Army a week ago.
It's going to be a real win for them as they'll have to duck back into ACC play. That pass for Taylor this time goes awry. Turnover.
The thing with Duke that they have going for them is they have a good RPI. They're at 5 right now. They've played or will have played RPI 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, 13, 14, 16. So by the numbers in the overall landscape of a season, they have some meat on the bone. Whether they bag some wins, against teams like Michigan now who just beat Maryland, like that's a big win for them.
That helps.
That helps. But they've lost to Princeton, who has a top RPI. Notre Dame, RPI 7. This won't hurt them too much. So they have serious RPI chips in the bank. Or they have opportunities to get more, too.
Yeah, they're just not going to be able to finish 1 and 3 in the ACC like they did last year.
No, you can panic by what you're seeing, but in terms of what's in front of them,
it's there.
It's there.
If you get some dubs. Unlike 2023, 2022 rather, when the ACC only got 1 team into the tournament, Virginia.
Yep.
Their conference RPI that year was 3rd best in the country, behind the Big Ten and the Ivy. This year, it's the best in the country, their RPI. So they have that conference going for them. If their conference wins will count a lot more than in 2022, when Notre Dame went on a 6-game winning streak to end the year, dominated ACC play, but the ACC wasn't good enough for that to count.
The problem is the ACC now, you're staring at it, Duke. Like, where's the easy win in this conference? There's not.
Pappendick, the extra pass, that's a good look. But Richard Daly is there to stone him. Graham was robbed by Richard Daly. He's made every save today count.
He has been awesome. And if you look at his growth throughout the season now, I mean, he is so comfortable. He doesn't look body language remotely to the same goalie that I saw against Georgetown in the first half. He had a good second half against Georgetown, but the first half, not even the same goalie.
Beautiful steal by Richard Daly. Shot was high. Luke Miller getting some time. Coach Corrigan going to his bench, getting some players some run here in the latter minutes.
Always coaching. He knows there's a moment that you can address, so when it happens again, you're ready. That's why he's one of the best, Kevin Corrigan. You know, we talk about the ACC too, Cotter. On the Hudson right now, there is a doozy of a game. Army up by 1 against North Carolina, 13-12.
Yeah.
That's going to be a wild finish.
It's very typical, isn't it?
Yes. They played a 1 goal last year.
Every week, teams they're just beating each other up. These great teams. Man up for Notre Dame here as Duke was offside. Picordi shoots wide.
Chris Kavanaugh's really understanding how to pass and find these seams. His passing's been terrific today.
Four assists for Kavanaugh. You got the Irish again next week, don't you, in the Dome?
Yep.
Oof.
Corrigan's going to be sick of me.
Gonna be.
When he sees another Zoom request for a meeting.
You and Anish up there?
Yes.
Anish, the king of Syracuse. I would say, other than if you're not a Powell or a Gate, if you're a Schroff, I mean, when he goes to Syracuse.
Are you booching him right now?
No, I'm saying, like, isn't that the case? I've heard that when he's in Syracuse, he's like the king of Q's. Saved by Jameson. And maybe Beardsley will give him a run for his money. Christmas can score. Too high, though. I think you're the one who told me that. Like, when you're hanging out with Anish at Syracuse, even you have to take a back seat to Anish.
I think you got the wrong guy, man.
Sloat. That's a good look. Papendick can't find a shot, though, as he drops the ball. Picks it back up. Maybe it was Q, because Q is not the most popular guy in Syracuse. It just seems like when he's there with Anish. Anish gets all the flowers. Johnston again.
You know, Ben Johnson's only a sophomore, but I can tell you right now, he is going to be a huge pro prospect one day for the PLL. His physical size, his speed, his two-handedness. Again, this is a lefty rip. This is a right-handed player. There's only a handful of midfielders, not even a handful, just a few. A couple that can hit with both hands. Luke Rowe from Syracuse, will see him next week, as one of them with both hands. You have no clue what hand Ben Johnson is. He's a righty. He's got 2 hammer shots from the outside with the left hand. We're heating up. We got a great April on tap with a season where I can't remember, where I can't really put my finger on, like, who's a favorite.
Yeah.
Cornell's the #1 right now.
Every week it changes.
They have the best player in college lacrosse. I think he's a outlier of a Tewaaraton frontrunner right now,
yeah.
CJ Kirst.
You have 3 or 4 games every week, Hark, where you say, wow, oh, they lost to so-and-so? Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
But that's what makes it great.
You have teams like Colgate who get wins, and
yeah,
Richmond.
And then the next week they'll lose to Bucknell.
Right, yeah, you're right. Like, how did that happen? Another save by Richard Daly, coming out of there with it, too.
Yeah, there's the confidence, too. The out-of-the-cage confidence. Looks like he's jawing at the Duke attack, too. He's feeling it.
Got it to Carter Williams. Carter Williams is like a Philadelphia physical specimen, 38 and
Oh,
white.
yeah.
It looks like he could play on the Notre Dame basketball team. Tomorrow on this very field, North Carolina and Notre Dame women's game, 3 o'clock on the ACC network.
Back-to-back production masterpieces by producer John Kettering, who's staying in South Bend, getting his Indiana license.
Final half minute to play here from our lot. Impressive win by the Irish. Serving notice to the rest of this conference as they'll pick up win number 1 on the year in the ACC. That they are still the 2-time defending national champ.
Yep.
And need to be knocked off that perch.
And in a season where I said, oh, 8 teams can win it, the one team that you get really worried about is the team that's been there before and done it and have the pieces to do it again. And with that guy at the helm, they'll be ready in May. But we have some April in store, Cotter. Buckle up.
And it begins next week with this Irish team in the Dome taking